It's bad enough that lockdowns wrecked life and liberty. To discover that vast support for them was funded by fraud and fakery is a deeper level of corruption that not even the most cynical among us could have imagined. Well, you're not cynical, but you did imagine it. And imagine is the wrong word here. You did see it coming at some level, to some degree, and as it was happening, you did predict it, and that's what this time traveling
money printer.
It's a terrible set of words together, but this time traveling money printer concept of yours is getting at.
Well, there's one more thing it's getting at,
Okay.
Unfortunately. This, believe it or not, it gets far worse soon if we are not wise about at least figuring out whether this is going on and getting to the bottom of FTX. And I believe that in some sense, the game you are about to watch unfold, and I will say, we have predicted the middle ground scramble with respect to COVID, and we have now seen so many versions of it that that prediction has done very, very well. This is another prediction like that. What are we about to see? And one thing we are about to see...
I don't know what you're about to say, but I hope you're wrong.
Me too.
Okay.
Oh, God, yes. Totally. Let's hope I'm wrong.
Okay. The prediction is?
The prediction is what we are going to see is a very studious and careful investigation designed not to find out what's going on, right? To limit the damage. And that behind the scenes, I would argue, what is taking place at this moment is what is called a Mexican standoff, where 14 people are pointing guns at each other in different ways, and the linkages that have been erected during the movie are so complex that who wants to shoot who, and then somebody switches. Right, that thing is happening behind the scenes because the true elites behind schemes like this are not dummies. Right? They don't go into these things vulnerable by doing bad stuff and not having a backup plan. So they all have dirt on each other. And so the question is, well, who's going onto the bus? And some of the people who should go onto the bus can't go onto the bus, because if they go onto the bus, then they're going to take other people onto the bus. So
this has a lot more than shades of Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, and don't be surprised if this turns out to be connected to whatever the Jeffrey Epstein thing was.
Yeah.
But first thing we're going to see is we're going to see a seemingly hopeful effort to get to the bottom of this story by the powers that be, that will in the end amount to what we got with Enron, which was a story limited to a tragic series of some things that...
And that one floor that was so alarming, that one trading floor. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
We're gonna get another version we're gonna get the blue version of Enron, right? Right. And what is really going on will be protected, because it has to be, because if it ever came out, wow, would the blue thing come tumbling down, right? But
well, you say that, but I just increasingly don't believe that there's anything that could be so amazingly clear and obvious and reprehensible.
Well,
that
here's what it is.
That anything would come tumbling down.
The World Economic Forum and their embarrassing little...
I mean, not personally.
You will own nothing and you will be happy. And if you think carefully about what they're saying... Yeah. They're not saying we will own nothing and we will be happy. They're saying you will own nothing and you will be happy, more or less, or else, that thing. Mm-hmm. Here's the problem. This story already has...
The FTX story.
The FTX story has critically damaged crypto, which was already reeling from a somewhat inexplicable collapse in the last several months. Let's just assume that the collapse of the value of crypto is just a normal correction. But the FTX story has now taken crypto, and it has shaken everybody's belief in it. Okay? And it is therefore...
everyone who never invested in crypto is feeling real smug.
Right. Well, maybe they should. But the problem is that it has kicked open the door for something that appears to have been marching forward anyway of its own accord, which is truly frightening and which most people do not really fathom yet, which is a central bank digital currency, right? Now, a central bank digital currency is effectively something that functions like crypto. It has the advantages of being a virtual currency, but it has the disadvantages of being a fiat currency, and then it has a bunch of brand new disadvantages, which is that effectively the money can be controlled by those who own the structure. And this threatens to basically erect...
It's a shortcut to social credit scores and just having it's loss of freedom in one step.
It is totalitarianism in an app and a currency. And the threat that this poses to the values on which the West is built really could not be overstated. And, many people have seen this. There's a very good discussion of it between Maajid Nawaz and Joe Rogan on Maajid's last...
months ago at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very good and quite predictive. There's also a piece that I'm going to point people to, which I hope they will look at. It's volume 2 or episode 2 of a series. Both of the items in the series are excellent, and I believe we talked about volume 1 many months ago when it emerged. It's called This Pivotal Moment. And so volume 2 is now out. I will tell you, and this will give you a hint of what's really going on. What is it about? Like, what's the... It is a video, high production values, that lays out the case for the fact that these central bank digital currencies are coming, that they are part of a plan, that they will be used to control behavior. They will effectively be used to reward people and punish them based on whether or not they adhere to the kinds of behaviors that the power structure wants them to adhere to, that it's a social credit score for the West. In any case, it is well worth a watch. And actually, maybe, Zach, do you want to show us? We've got the beginning of the intro to volume 2 here.
You ready?
Yep.
In episode 1 of this series, the case was made that we stand on the threshold of a radical civilizational change in which the nature of freedom in democratic societies, a system we have lived under for centuries, will be transformed beyond recognition. Where we are currently free to live the lives we choose, go where we please and behave as we wish, except where our actions are prohibited in law, under this new system we will only be allowed to do the things that we have been given explicit permission to do. The nature of freedom in democratic societies will thus have become inverted, with our cherished and hard-fought-for freedoms being transformed into mere privileges granted to us for compliance and total, unquestioning submission to the edicts of those who control the system. As unlikely as it may sound, the first critical step in this radical transformation was the introduction of vaccine passports. For vaccine passports were just the first internationally coordinated attempt to roll out a digital ID platform that itself is designed to rapidly evolve into a social credit system, similar to the one that people live under in China today. In this new...
So, it's an excellent piece. It lays out the case very well, and I will tell you ominously that what has happened to this piece, it took off when it was first put onto YouTube over a week ago, and then it hit this phenomenon I call molasses, where suddenly the growth of something that is apparently getting people's attention just stops, right? Where it hits the level of viscosity of the system changes. What's more, YouTube seems to have put some sort of a strange limitation on this object that corrals how it is viewed. So anyway, it's not surprising given what YouTube has done to us, to Matt Orfalia, to others. It is not surprising that YouTube would do what it could to limit the reach of this piece. I would ask DarkHorse viewers and listeners to watch it, to give it serious consideration. I would suggest going back to episode 1 as well and checking that one out, and sharing it, which doesn't mean you have to agree with every element of the case, but I think the case is well worth airing. And the last thing I'll say is I believe that what we've said here today, what's laid out in this pivotal moment, episodes 1 and 2, also suggests something very important about what's going on at Twitter.